Okay, let's take a look at the Leica M6 rangefinder 35mm film camera. I will be going through everything about it with guidance from the instructions. So let's begin. In the beginning, it's a description of the parts and buttons and features, so let's take a look. Number one, automatic frame counter. That is this right here. As you advance the film, the numbers advance, so you know how many pictures you've taken. And you can see when you're about to get to the end, and not pull too hard when you might be on the last frame, because you could damage something. Number two is the shutter release button with thread for cable release. That's basically your picture taker right there. You push that after you advance to take a photo, and inside there is some female ended thread, and you can put in a cable that has a wire, and you push it to trigger a photo without pushing the camera and moving it, which is good for long exposure images. Let's see, number three, single stroke rapid advance lever, can also be multi-stroke. This is your film advance crank, or as they say, rapid advance lever. Some cameras like the Leica M3DS, as in double stroke, are known for having 2 strokes to advance the film. You cannot do this, and it's ready. You have to do this, and that's basically the difference between a single stroke and a double stroke. On most, I guess all Leica cameras, you can do a double stroke, but some of them are only double strokes. So number four, film rewind lever. That is this. When you finish a roll, when you see that you've hit 36 or 24 and you cannot continue anymore, you need to rewind your film with this, which we will get to. But before you can do that, you have to trigger some release inside, so it allows you to rewind. So you just push this that way, and when it's down on the R for rewind, you are ready. Let me go ahead and jump to that 17 rewind lever. That's this here. You want to flip it up, get this little knob out, and twist in the direction of the arrow once this is turned to the R. And you do that until the film is completely rewound. There's no film in here now, so you can't see that, but we will show you later. Number six, rangefinder window. That is this here. Rangefinder is a simple yet complicated mechanism, but this is important, and this is what you perceive as a patch inside the viewfinder. That's what this window is for. It collects the light from that and is able to compare the left and right image, which you will also see later. 7, battery compartment is here. Let me quickly go into the batteries. Basically, you twist. You can kind of squeeze or push depending how tight you have it. Twist off, and your batteries are inside, which we will get to later. Number 8, bayonet lens mount release button. That is this. That is how you take the lens on and off. It automatically locks when you put the lens on correctly, but to remove the lens, in this case a lens cap, you need to push and twist. And once you put a lens on, which we'll see later, you'll hear it lock. Yeah. Red spot for lens alignment, number 9. That's something it's talking about on the lens. All M-mount lenses will have a red dot somewhere on them, and that is where you begin the alignment. So you line up that red dot to this red dot, and you put them on and twist, which we will get to. 10, hot shoe. Hot shoe as opposed to cold shoe. Hot shoe has some electrical conductivity there, some electric contacts, and it will communicate with the camera. So this is where you put your flash Flash, yeah. Depth of field scale 11. That's another part of the lens. That's a whole nother video on its own, but in short, the depth of field scale is this. Well, it's kind of this as well. Well, let's see what they say it is. 11. Yeah, this. So I'll try to go over this briefly. These numbers you see are mirrored on the left and right, and they correspond to different apertures that you can select on the lens. And basically what it says is, when you mind your focal distance, which is these white and yellow numbers, white in meters and yellow in feet, when you mind your focal distance and also consider which aperture you're set to, in this case, let's go 16. What it is saying is, it is telling you what is in focus. Like mathematically, this has all been predetermined. Science doesn't change, so it is what it is, and it's useful for you to shoot. At f16, the things that will be in focus from near to far, your depth of field, will be all of the measurements between the marks on the left and right that equal your current aperture setting. So in this case at 16, I can set the infinity mark to 16, where it's pointing at the 16. I'm not sure if this is meant to continue in that direction, like infinity at 16 is there, or if it's meant to go here and straight up. I think that's the case. Anyway, you would have to refer to your specific lens manual for that, and I don't have this one in front of me. So in this situation, it says that everything would be in focus at f16 from infinity all the way to 1.2 meters roughly, or 4 feet. And in that same scenario, if we were to go to f4, what would now be in focus is about 2 meters to 3 meters, or 7 meters to 10 feet. Yeah, okay. Hot shoe, depth of field scale. Distance scale, yeah, I kind of did that already. Aperture ring, yeah, that's this. But this is supposed to be about the camera, not the lens. 14, bright line frames illumination window. That is this. Inside the camera you will have like a frame that is illuminated, which tells you, according to the lens you have on, what your picture will be. Will it be everything you see, or will it be a small section of what you see? And those lines get light from this window. You'll see on earlier models the window is flat, while this one is rigid, like a grate or some blinds. I guess this is an upgraded design, presumably to be able to illuminate it better, catching light from the side or something. Okay, next, frame pre-selector lever. That's this. You can't see it now, but as you move this, it changes the frames that are shown inside. This is for, I guess, for a few things, mostly compositional purposes. When you put on a lens, it will default to the correct position and show you the correct frame for which pictures you're taking on the lens. If for any reason you want to preview what a different focal length would capture, you just move this. Oh, and a good tip about this is, if you're interested in getting a Leica camera and for example you wear glasses, or you just want to know exactly how it's going to look through and toggle this and see what frame lines you're able to comfortably see. For example, sometimes on this camera, if I were to shoot 28 millimeters, even 35, it's quite difficult for me because I wear glasses, and I would know that if I got this in my hand and I was able to look through and see that I cannot see those lines. But it's not a problem. This is in fact one of the reasons why people choose specific cameras. If they want the M3 or the M2 or the M4 or the CL or the M5 or the M6 or the M7, it's usually determined on if it has a light meter and what the magnification of the rangefinder window is. Viewfinder window. So investigate that before you buy a camera. Rewind lever, 17. That would be this. We went over that. Eyelets for carrying strap. Here is where you attach your straps. Notoriously obnoxious, but they keep your camera safe. Range Viewfinder eyepiece, 19. Yeah, this is where you look through the camera to see where to take a photo. Baseplate catch, 20. That is this. This is how you take on and off the bottom of the camera, which is how you access your film to put it in and take it out. Oh, there's a little notch here. You see it's like a semicircle. Some earlier models it's a full semicircle, while this one you see a slight flat part there. That's because they found out it's a lot easier to get your finger in there and pull it up. Pull it up, twist it, pull it off. That's it, and we'll get in there later. To put it back on, you go by this end first, catch that little nub, secure it by twisting, and put that flat whichever way it goes flat. Baseplate catch, synchronization socket for flash units with cable. I don't know many people that use this, but this is some options when you want to use flash, but it's not necessarily needed. If you're a flash shooter, you can look this up, but if you don't use it, it doesn't really get in the way, so it's no problem. It's just an extra feature that you may or may not use. Today it's an extra feature. Back in the day it was, I think, more necessary, as people had to use film, and a lot of people now, if they have a job, they use digital and they use film just for pleasure, you know. ISO film speed dial. So this camera has a built-in meter, and for it to meter properly, it has to understand what film is in the camera. Many cameras have done that by what's called the DX code, but this camera does not have that, which is not a problem. You just have to tell your camera what film you have inside. This arrow points to your film speed. So if I were to use 100 speed film, oh look, this one is already pointing at 100, so that's great. But you just push and turn. You know, it's a little hard because your finger kind of covers up what you're doing, but you can figure it out and go to the speed you want. Push, turn, arrow align with the film speed. ISO, oh, we did that. Triped bushing, 1/4 inch tripod socket. Okay, well, that was quite long. Maybe we'll continue in another video. Just in case, let me put in a nice editing point and say thank you for watching. See you next time.